St. Paul, in his letter to the Galatian Christians, towards the end of that, in chapter 5, where is it? It's chapter 5, verses 13 to 25. Chapter 5, Galatians, chapter 5, verses 13 to 25. It's towards the end of that letter to the Christians in Galatia, and that's the part where Paul gets quite practical, and he's done all his theologizing and Greeking and all that sort of stuff, which he does earlier on in that letter, and he's now wanting to guide the Christians in Galatia into how they should therefore live. And he does this thing where he makes a contrast between the flesh and the spirit. He does it in other places as well, and it's like these two contrasting principles or dynamics that are at work in us. It's like you can be controlled by the flesh, directed by the flesh, or you can be controlled and directed by the Spirit. And of course, Paul's encouragement is to be controlled and directed by the Spirit, to walk by the Spirit, or with the Spirit, or in the Spirit, or to walk the Spirit kind of thing, to live out what the Spirit is telling. So that's an interesting idea, right? What does it mean? We kind of know what it means to be normal. Normal is the flesh. We live in our flesh, and the flesh has certain desires associated with it. And I think a good way to summarize those desires is it's very much survival oriented. It's about keeping yourself going and making yourself number one priority in order to do that. Whereas the Spirit's a bit different. The Spirit takes in a much broader kind of purview, as it were. It wants to acknowledge that it's not just about me, myself, or you, yourself, but actually, if we don't bear in mind the totality, we are in strife. And so the Spirit helps us not to be so caught up with ourselves, and paradoxically enough, helps us to live better as a result. So Paul goes into some detail about what that looks like, gives us some pointers along the way, and we're going to look at that at Mustard Seed this Sunday, because if we walk the Spirit, then we are the children of God, and that's an important thing for us to do at this time. So come along to Mustard Seed, and we'll talk about those things. See you there.